Hi everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, Glam by Sam. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes for fall. It is almost fall, so I thought it'd be a good time to share my favorite recommendations for the fall, since I know some of you guys might be looking for like new eyeshadow palettes to add to your collection for this time of the year. And these are just the tones that I like to wear during the fall and just some of my favorite palettes. So if you want to see which palettes I chose for my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes for fall, then please keep watching. So I have my 5 palettes right here next to me, and I have to say it was pretty hard to make a decision as to which palettes I would choose, because I'm not really a person that usually sticks to like a specific season for which eyeshadow palettes I wear. Like if I want to wear a bright pink eyeshadow palette in fall, then I'm totally going to do that, you know what I mean? But I do have some palettes that I think will suit a specific season the most. Like I will use them all year, but I mainly use them for this season because I just think they suit the season so well, if that makes sense. So that is kind of where I went for the video. So I chose 5 palettes that are still available. I did have some palettes in my collection that I maybe would have picked if they were still available, but I didn't want to like add in discontinued palettes. For instance, my Too Faced Pumpkin Spice, you guys know I love that palette, but it's no longer available. So I don't want to keep mentioning it on my channel because I want you guys to be able to get use out of these palettes as well and not be sad that they are discontinued. So let's get started with the first eyeshadow palette. So the first palette is actually the one I'm wearing on my eyes today mostly. I did combine it with a different palette, but you can pretty much do this entire look with just this palette. But this is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I definitely showed this on my channel a couple of times, but I just think this is a really beautiful palette for the fall. This eyeshadow look is kind of like out of my comfort zone because I don't usually wear like gold and orangey looks, but ever since I got this palette I've been just playing with it and kind of getting into those tones as well, and I feel like these types of looks are going to be perfect for the fall. So the inside of the palette of course is what matters, and the inside of the palette looks like this. So as you can see, we have a variety of mattes and shimmers all in the same like sort of like mustardy yellow golden tone, and it took me a while to pick up this palette because I wasn't sure how much use I was going to get out of it. But then around June I was actually able to pick it up for 50% off, and I've been really enjoying playing with this palette. Like I said, today I'm sort of like wearing these mustard tones with this gold all over the lid and then some of these like darker shades. It's not the best look I've ever done, but I think it's nice to like play with a different type of color story, and I definitely think the palette is pretty good quality. I only sometimes struggle with the like darker shade. It's a little bit harder to blend, but the rest of the shades all work really well, and I just think this is a nice addition to anyone's makeup collection because I think these golden tones are just so beautiful. Whenever I wear this palette, I usually also get like compliments on it of people who think my makeup looks really pretty. So that is the type of look I'm wearing today. I did chose this over my Natasha Denona Bronze palette. Actually gonna be surprised to you, but I didn't include that one in this video simply because I feel like the tones in that palette are a slightly bit more on the orangey red side, and I think I prefer this type of more golden color story. So that is the Urban Decay Naked Honey. Absolutely recommend if you want to add these tones to your collection, and if you can get it on sale, that's even better. So that is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. So then the next palette is actually one I was thinking about whether I wanted to put this in this video, because in terms of quality it's not the best palette in my collection because these shades are not as pigmented as some of my other shadows, but I do think it's a really nice palette for like quick everyday looks, and especially for the fall I think this color story is really pretty. So the palette I'm talking about is from Rare Beauty, and this is the Discovery eyeshadow palette. Now again, definitely not a bad palette. The shades are just a bit more sheer, and this is what the color story looks like. And I think we all know that Rare Beauty is like all about the sort of like natural makeup look, enhancing your natural beauty, and I really think that this palette suits the vibe of the brand. Because of how natural like the entire brand is, I feel like it would be weird if they had this like crazily pigmented eyeshadow palette in their collection. So these shades definitely show up. They just need a little bit more building up. They're a little bit more sheer, but that makes them so incredibly easy to work with, and I just think this is a beautiful color story. We have a like more mauvey purple right here, then we have a beautiful coral. This is sort of like a pink to green duochrome, and it's absolutely stunning. This is a beautiful mauve shade, this light pink is beautiful, and this gold is beautiful as well. I personally don't use the pressed glitter, so I haven't used this shade yet, but I have gotten quite a lot of use out of the other shades, and I think this is really pretty. The shimmers are definitely not like the most intense shimmer, so if you are someone that wants a really pigmented eyeshadow palette with like really metallic shimmers, then this is not the palette for you. But if you like natural, easy makeup look that you can wear to school, to work, just having a really pretty eye look without it being like too intense, if that makes sense, then I think you will really love this palette. Then the next one is the newest palette addition to my makeup collection, and you probably can guess what this palette is. This is the gorgeous Natasha Denona Retro palette. So I wanted to include this palette because I've only owned it for not that long. It is a really good palette. I've been using it a lot already. I'm currently like making a 3 looks 1 palette with it that will be up for my next video. I did an entire review on this, so I've been playing with this palette quite a lot and I've been really enjoying it. So I really wanted to add this to this video because I think that if you are into this mauve color story, this is going to be a beautiful palette for you. Like, a lot of people think about like really warm toned eye looks when they think of fall, and even though I think warm eye looks are really pretty, and that is also why I'm mentioning like more warm tone palettes in this video, I definitely think that these types of mauve berry tones can be so beautiful for the fall as well. So I'm personally really glad that Natasha released this palette right before the fall because I think it's such a beautiful palette. And I'm not going to be talking about the quality because I just did an entire review of this, so I will have that linked in the info cards and down below as well in case you're interested in seeing the look that I created and just my thoughts on the palette in general. And then, like I said, my next video is going to be a 3 looks 1 palette with this palette. So then the next palette is probably not a surprise. This is absolutely gorgeous for the fall, and it's kind of like similar to the Naked Honey. I've mentioned this on my channel before, and this is by Sigma Beauty, and this is actually their Ambiance palette. So this is one of their newer palettes, and it is absolutely stunning. Can you see these beautiful tones? I think this palette is so gorgeous. This was kindly gifted by Sigma Beauty, and I am actually a Sigma Beauty affiliate, so you can use my code GlamBySam10 for 10% off your order at Sigma Beauty, which I think this palette is definitely worth it. I'm not mentioning this just because I'm a Sigma Beauty affiliate. I'm mentioning this because I genuinely think this palette is so beautiful. Look at these like bronzy tones. So you have like bronzy tones, you also have like more of the gold, you have some more neutral tones in there, and these shimmers just look so pretty. I definitely need to use this palette more, but this is a palette where I was just thinking about how perfect is this going to be for fall. So I think I will definitely get the most use out of this palette during the fall and winter time because I think this is such a beautiful like cozy eyeshadow palette, if that makes sense. I also think the Sigma Beauty quality is really nice, so I'm really happy to have this in my collection. And what I think is even better is that this palette actually comes with a brush. And sometimes brushes that come with eyeshadow palettes just aren't the best, but this brush I pretty much use on an everyday basis. So for the amount of money that you pay for this palette, you not only get the palette, but you also get the brush, which is a dual-ended brush, so you basically get 2 brushes, if that makes sense, and it won't disappoint. So that is the Sigma Beauty Ambiance palette, and I feel like this palette should definitely be more popular because it's really, really good. Palette number 5 is not the most popular palette either. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, and that kind of surprised me because this is a really special palette for this brand. This is by ColourPop actually, so it's really affordable, and this is the Grandeur palette. I think this released last year in the fall, and this is just a palette I think of when I think of fall tones. Like, it is so beautiful. Look at this. First of all, the packaging, you have this gorgeous background for these shades that I think goes so well with the theme, and these shades are absolutely stunning. So you have a really pretty gold shimmer, you have these gorgeous warm toned shades, you have this beautiful dark shade, then you actually have a very deep blue. I haven't used this yet, but I really want to. And then these shimmers actually look so pretty and kind of special, if that makes sense. There is one pressed glitter in here which I don't use, and I just feel like this is such a perfect palette for the fall. It is just a beautiful palette, and every time I reach for this and create a look look with this. I just love how it turns out. So I definitely feel like this palette deserves more love. I don't hear about it on YouTube a lot, but it is still available, I think. I will have it linked down below, and I think this is absolutely one of ColourPop's best palettes. I have decluttered quite some ColourPop palettes over the past months just because I haven't been enjoying them as much. I wasn't really reaching for them, but this is one that I've kept in my collection because it is so special, and even though, as you can probably see, I haven't used it as much, that is mainly because I just think in the fall I'm getting so much use out of this palette. It's not really like a summer palette for me, but I think for the fall and winter time this is absolutely stunning. So this is the Grandeur palette from ColourPop. Highly recommend this if you want a beautiful warm tone palette like this. Okay guys, and this was it for my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes for fall. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this and find it interesting to see my picks. I would love to hear in the comment section your top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes for fall and which palettes just scream fall for you. I would love to know your picks as well. And if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, and to thank you guys all so much for watching, I really hope you have an amazing day and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!